Picture this. The year is 876 AD. A Viking longship cuts through the freezing North Atlantic waters, heading toward uncharted lands. But what these Norse warriors are about to discover will not just change their destiny, it will rewrite the entire course of human history. What if the Vikings stumbled upon technology not from this world? As the morning fog lifts, the Vikings spot an island that appears on no map, no saga, no legend. The coastline shimmers with an otherworldly luminescence, a pale blue glow that pulses like a living heartbeat. Jarl Erik Bloodaxe, seasoned warrior of 30 winters, orders his crew to approach with caution. They've raided monasteries from Lindisfarne to Paris. They've fought bears and rival clans, but nothing in their experience has prepared them for what awaits. As their longship beaches on black sand that seems to absorb light itself, the warriors notice something impossible. The rocks here aren't rocks at all. They're too smooth, too geometrically perfect, too deliberate. Some are suspended in mid-air, rotating slowly, humming with an energy that makes their iron weapons vibrate in their scabbards. The bravest among them, young Bjorn Ironside, son of Erik, steps forward toward what can only be described as a doorway. But this is no wooden door bound with iron. This is a portal of pure light, shimmering with colors the Norse language has no words for. Ancient runes carved into his grandfather's axe begin to glow in resonance with the structure, as if the old magic of Midgard recognizes something even older, something from beyond the Nine Realms. Bjorn reaches out, his fingertips barely grazing the surface, and suddenly, his mind explodes with visions. He sees stars being born and dying in seconds, vast empires spanning galaxies, beings of pure thought, and machines the size of mountains crossing the void between worlds. When he pulls his hand back, gasping, he finds strange symbols now tattooed across his palm, symbols that pulse with that same ethereal blue light. The other warriors step back in terror, making signs against evil, but Bjorn understands something profound. This technology was left here, waiting for someone brave enough or foolish enough to claim it. Jarl Erik faces the hardest decision of his life. Does he order his men back to the ship, leave this cursed place, and pretend they never saw what lies here? Or does he dare to embrace this gift from the stars, this power that could make his people unstoppable? He thinks of the Saxon kingdoms that push against Norse territories, the Frankish armies that grow stronger each year, the harsh winters that claim so many children, the endless struggle for survival in a world that shows no mercy. He looks at his son, at the glowing marks upon his hand, and makes his choice. They will not flee, they will learn. Over the following days, through a combination of courage and experimentation, the Vikings begin to understand fragments of the alien technology. The glowing symbols respond to touch and thought. The floating stones can be commanded to move, to lift impossible weights, to cut through solid rock like a hot knife through butter. Weapons forged in the strange fires the technology provides become unnaturally sharp, never dulling, never breaking. Armor formed from the alien materials weighs nothing, yet turns aside any blade. But the greatest discovery, the one that will change everything, is the ship.
3 months pass. The island becomes a strange hybrid settlement. Traditional Viking longhouses, now enhanced with alien technology. Fires that burn without fuel, providing warmth through the winter. water purified through crystalline structures that glow softly in the darkness. Food preserved indefinitely in chambers that hold back time itself. The Vikings, these warriors and farmers who worshipped Odin and Thor, begin to see themselves differently. Bjorn, his connection to the alien technology growing stronger each day, can now interface with the systems through thought alone. The symbols on his palm have spread, crawling up his arm in geometric patterns, but he feels no pain, only power. He teaches others. The wisest among them, the Volva Freydis, begins to document everything in a combination of Norse runes and alien symbols, creating the first human-alien hybrid language. She speaks of destiny, of how their gods perhaps guided them here. Or perhaps their gods were travelers from the stars themselves.
The day comes when the alien vessel is ready. The hull has been repaired using techniques the Vikings barely comprehend, but which work nonetheless. It's smaller than they first thought when partially buried, but still magnificent. Sleek lines that seem to defy the laws of shipbuilding, capable of carrying 50 warriors and their provisions. Jarl Erik orders his best men to board. He himself stands at what they've come to call the command throne, a seat that melds with whoever sits in it, connecting directly to the ship's consciousness. Yes, consciousness. For they've learned the ship is alive in ways their wooden longships never were. Erik places his hands on the controls. His mind fills with sensation. He can feel the wind patterns miles above, sense the currents of air like ocean waves, understand trajectories and velocities his people have no mathematics to calculate. He thinks one word, up, and the ship responds. Silent as a ghost, it lifts from the black sand. 20 feet, 50 feet, 100 feet. The Vikings who remain on the ground fall to their knees. Some pray, some weep, some laugh with the pure joy of witnessing the impossible made real. And Erik, warrior chieftain who has sailed every sea the Norse know, feels the ship break through the clouds and realizes there are no limits anymore.
The first test of their new power comes sooner than expected. Word has reached them of a massive Saxon army marching toward Norse settlements in Northumbria. 5,000 men, heavily armored cavalry, siege weapons. It would be a massacre. Jarl Erik's response is simple: we fly. The alien ship carries them across hundreds of miles in mere hours. What would have taken weeks by sea, they accomplish before the sun sets. The Saxon army camps for the night, confident, secure in their numbers. Then, from the darkness above, a light descends. The ship hovers over the battlefield, silent, impossible. The Saxons panic, horses scream and bolt, men pray for salvation. And then, the Vikings descend, not with ladders or ropes, but flying. Individual warriors wearing alien-enhanced armor that lets them soar like Valkyries. They land among the chaos, weapons that cut through Saxon steel like parchment, moving with speed no human should possess. It's not a battle, it's a demonstration. Within an hour, the Saxon commander surrenders, begging for mercy from what he believes are demons or gods. The Vikings let them live, but with a message. The North is under new protection. Tell your kings, tell your priests, tell everyone, the age of easy conquest is over.
News of the impossible victory spreads like wildfire across medieval Europe. Monks in monasteries record tales of flying demons from the north. Kings send spies who return with stories too fantastical to believe, yet too consistent to ignore. The Pope himself convenes a council, debating whether these are manifestations of divine wrath or satanic powers.
But while the Christian kingdoms debate theology, the Vikings are transforming their world. Using the alien technology, they terraform the harsh Norwegian fjords, creating areas of perpetual spring where crops grow year-round. The chronic starvation that has plagued Norse society for centuries ends. Settlements that once struggled through winter now thrive. Population explodes. With their basic survival secured, the Vikings pour energy into understanding more of the alien knowledge. Libraries emerge in places that previously knew only oral tradition. Schools where children learn both runic wisdom and alien mathematics. The Volva and the technology users become a new class, the Starborn, respected and slightly feared intermediaries between the old gods and new powers. Not all kingdoms respond with fear. Some, the wise ones, send ambassadors seeking alliance. The Byzantine Empire, the Caliphate of Cordoba, even distant kingdoms from the Silk Road, all send emissaries bearing gifts, hoping to establish trade or at least neutrality. Jarl Erik, now calling himself Erik Starcaller, receives them all. He's grown older, the alien technology extending his life, but not stopping time entirely. His hair has gone completely silver, but his mind remains sharp, sharper perhaps than ever. He understands something crucial. The alien technology cannot fall into the wrong hands. Power without wisdom breeds only tyranny. So, he establishes rules. The technology will be shared, but slowly, carefully. Only those who demonstrate both skill and moral character may join the Starborn. He creates a council, representatives from all peoples who wish to join this new age, Norse and Saxon, Muslim and Christian, pagan and scholar, all working together. For the first time in human history, the promise of plenty makes cooperation more profitable than conquest. It's not perfect. Old hatreds die hard, but it's a beginning, a fragile, precious beginning.
But one question haunts them all. Who left this technology and why? Bjorn, now middle-aged himself, has delved deeper into the alien systems than anyone. His entire body is covered in the glowing symbols. He barely looks human anymore, more like a bridge between two forms of existence. He's discovered something in the deepest archives of the ship's memory. Images, fragments of data. The aliens who built this technology, they were explorers, scientists. They seeded the galaxy with these caches, gifts for any species that achieved a certain level of development, a test and an invitation. Would the discovering species use the power to destroy themselves, or would they prove worthy of joining a greater cosmic community? The Vikings stumbled upon it earlier than intended, by accident, by fate, by the will of whatever gods might exist. And now, humanity faces its test centuries ahead of schedule. Bjorn stands before the council and shares his discovery. Somewhere out there, beyond the stars they can now reach, there are others. Countless civilizations, some young, some ancient beyond imagining. And they're waiting to see what humanity will choose. 200 years pass. The world is unrecognizable. The Viking discovery has propelled humanity into an age that should have taken millennia. Cities float among the clouds. Ships sail not just between continents, but between worlds. Luna, Mars, the moons of Jupiter, all host human settlements. Disease has been conquered, aging slowed.
the harsh brutality of medieval life replaced by something approaching utopia. But humanity hasn't forgotten its roots. In the great capital, New Asgard, built where that mysterious island once stood, there's a monument, a statue of Jarl Erik Bloodaxe, the man who chose knowledge over fear. And beside it, perfectly preserved through alien technology, the original Viking longship, the one that carried those first explorers to their destiny. Children learn the story in schools across 3 worlds, how humanity was tested early, how one group of warriors chose to share rather than hoard, how cooperation proved stronger than conquest. It's not entirely true, of course. History never is. There were wars, terrible ones, as nations fought over the technology. There were those who tried to use the power for evil. But enough people, enough of the time, chose the harder, better path, and humanity passed its test.
And then, one day, the signal comes. From deep space, a transmission in the same alien language Bjorn learned centuries ago. The message is clear. You have passed your testing period. You have proven worthy. Prepare yourselves. We are coming to make contact. The news spreads across all human worlds in minutes. Some people celebrate, dancing in streets, knowing humanity will finally join the cosmic community. Others feel fear. What if this is a trick? What if the test was merely to see if humanity would make itself vulnerable? But the Starborn, thousands now, descendants of those first technology users, they feel something different, a resonance. The symbols on their skin pulse with new intensity, not warning, but welcome. In New Asgard, the High Council convenes. The great-great-great-granddaughter of Erik Starcaller, herself a Starborn, addresses humanity across 3 worlds. Our ancestors chose hope over fear, she says. They chose to believe the best of unknown strangers. That choice gave us the stars. Now we face another choice. We can greet our mentors with open hands or closed fists. The vote is overwhelming. Humanity will welcome its visitors. We'll meet them not as servants, but as junior partners, ready to learn, ready to grow, ready to take the next step into a universe so much larger than the 9 realms of Norse mythology ever imagined.
So, what if Vikings found alien technology? Perhaps they would have done exactly what humans have always done when given great power. Some would have used it for conquest, some for greed, but enough, just enough, would have chosen wisdom. Just as you, right now, watching this, face choices every day. Will you use your knowledge to divide or to unite? Will you hoard your advantages or share them? Will you meet the unknown with fear or with courage? The Vikings who found those alien artifacts weren't special. They were just people, flawed, scared, uncertain. But they chose. They chose to hope. And that choice changed everything. What will you choose? Because the future isn't written in the stars. It's written in the choices we make, right here, right now, every single day. Thank you for watching. If this story made you think, made you wonder, then perhaps we're all still taking that test. And perhaps we can still pass it.